Welcome to great day here in Hoosier Land. Wanted to address a few staff changes and as well as update where we're at with recruiting and talk about our team that's on campus at this time. Very excited about some changes we made in our program here at Indiana with our football team, and going to announce 3 individuals today. 2 will be here with us to be able to answer questions here from you in a few minutes. But Dave Ballou here in the back is going to be our new strength and conditioning coach in charge of that area. And then Kane Womack is going to be our new linebackers coach, and he'll be here in a few minutes to answer some questions. And Dr. Matt Ray is also going to be in the strength and conditioning program as specialist in speed development, has his doctorate in that area, and a man that I'm very, very excited about as well, adding to our program. And so also wanted to address mid-year signees that we have on campus at this time. Really excited about these young men: Mike Penix, quarterback; Ronnie Walker, running back; James Head, defensive end; Jacoby Hewitt, wide receiver, coming up right out of high school as mid-year grads, and now in class working out with us and training to become Indiana Hoosiers. Also, as a transfer from the graduate level, Nick Linder, coming to us from the University of Miami in Florida, and then from Georgia Tech, T.D. Roof, linebacker. Nick will be an offensive lineman. Matter of fact, Nick's brother's playing right now. He's the starting center for the Jaguars. But really excited about these young men, first-class individuals that are representing us academically, in character, as well as in their football expertise. Also, spring signing period, or the second signing period is coming up here in February. A little bit different schedule than we've had in the past. We've usually this has kind of been the race to signing day when we get on the road this weekend. But now it's the second signing, and we've had 24 young men that have joined our class already. We'll have a few spots remaining. Not sure exactly how that's all going to play out. Kind of project to sign a couple, 2 or 3 high school individuals in that group, and maybe have a couple possible transfers in the springtime. We don't know how that's going to play out, but the bottom line is that we don't have a lot left to do. Going to emphasize recruiting 2019 class members for our future. That's going to be the emphasis over the next several weeks. Excited about our team as they began training this week, finished week number 1. As we move through here, we'll have a 9-week cycle in the weight room, in increasing our strength and our speed, and allowing us to be able to do a tremendous job in that area. And then also we'll be moving into our spring. March 3rd will be our first spring practice on a Saturday, and then April 14th will be our spring game, which will be on a Saturday as well. So we're very excited about the way the schedule is going to flow for that. We'll announce the times at a later date for both those practices and the spring game. And then also, as I wrap up here, before I answer some questions, just want to be able to elaborate a little bit more on the 2 individuals you're going to be speaking with. But Dave Ballou is coming to us here from the University of Notre Dame, individual I've known for many, many years, highly, highly respected in the area of strength development and conditioning and speed. Just a first-class individual, graduated from Indiana, played football here, very proud member of our past, loves this university, was very excited to be joining us and returning home for him, and also has really established an expertise in the areas of strength development, toughness, and just being able to develop those qualities on the young men he's worked with over the years. And really, really excited about his right-hand man he's bringing with him, Dr. Ray. As I addressed and talked to Dave, really wanted to be able to address this area on our team, and to be able to be bringing in an individual as his expertise and caliber of allow us to increase in that area. To me, it was about allowing us, I am the one responsible for this program. The buck stops with me in all areas, and when you address and evaluate at the end of the season where you're at, you either have to fix it or make a change, and I chose to make a change, so that's on me. And so, but very, very excited about the individuals we've added in that area, because it's such a critical part of our development is the individual's speed and strength and what we do in the weight room. In the area of on the field, Kane Womack is going to be joining us as our new linebackers coach. And that, to me, is a big deal. When you go through and you add the 10th coach, there's always a big, I talked to a lot of other coaches in this profession, head coaches, even assistants, just about kind of what their philosophy was going to be about how do you address this 10th coach. How do you, where do you put that individual? And to me, I came to the summary of I want to find the best coach that fits with us. And that's on the field, that's off the field, it's in recruiting, all those areas. And so that's what we did. And Kane is an individual coming to us from South Alabama, where he's been the defensive coordinator there. And he was the youngest defensive coordinator in FBS. the last 2 seasons. It's interesting, 2 years ago when I first got here, we finished the 2016 season as the most improved defense in the country. And South Alabama's defense, led by King Womack, was number 2. And so we've have a lot of similarities in philosophy and just the way that we go about running our defense and the way that we motivate and lead. And so that's the fit part I was talking about. So he was a great individual to be able to join us as our linebackers coach. And because of that, obviously, we address the issue here of moving William Inge to the area of special teams. You know how I've emphasized special teams ever since I've been the head football coach here at Indiana. In our very first class, we signed a punter from Australia, and you saw the benefit of him this past season. In this class, my first full class, we signed a kicker that just kicked in the USA All-American game last weekend. And so that's something that I put an emphasis on. And special teams, as in terms of how we're going to run it as a program, is no different. And so in the past, it's always been, we've kind of had several guys in charge of different areas. And so I just felt like that as a third of the game is special teams. We all know that. It can decide the outcome of about every single game. And it will continue to be the case. And so having someone over that they are going to own and that they're going to take to be their responsibility primarily is going to be Coach Inge. And I think he'll do a tremendous job. So I know I had the opportunity to do that at Ole Miss for the first time at that level, and it really refined me and really, I thought, prepared me to be the final pieces of being a head coach, as you have to oversee so many individuals that participate in special teams, their development, and then just the value of those teams during a game. And so we saw even this past season, we've improved dramatically in special teams, I felt like, from last year to this year, but still not good enough. So putting him in charge of that, to me, is a very, very important role, and I'm excited about having him in that position. So all that being said, we are excited about the start of this spring semester, and our coaches are going to be out recruiting here the next several weeks, but our young men are working extremely hard in the weight room, getting ready for the best spring we've ever had here. Questions?
I guess just you talked about the possibility of transfers, and you've already taken one in, but how do you evaluate that while kind of the semester's ongoing? And is it possible to get somebody in for spring practice, or are you talking at this point about somebody who'd be coming into the summer?
Yeah, most of that will be over the summer. The only possible thing you could have, if you have in certain graduate programs that might be on the quarter system and different calendars within our school, would be a possibility. But more than likely, it'll be guys that would go through the spring, and you don't really know. You just wait till it's over, and then guys make those decisions, and then you just take a look at that. And some of those will also be even, I would say, junior college players that would not be available to be here until the summer. So those, in my mind, would be the two areas we're going to address, just to try and get some more maturity to a couple areas if we feel like that we don't address them in the signing class out of high school.
Do you have a read on, I guess, which guys were able to get medical red shirts from last year? Do you have an exact number of which guys are?
Still working on that, but I feel very, very confident with Marcelino Ball. We'll be able to successfully. Those are things that you go through a process of having to apply for those, but feel like that he missed enough to where we're going to allow him to be able to retain that year, and very excited about that for him. And he's progressing extremely well physically. I know with Donovan Hale as well, and Nick Westbrook, those guys that will allow them to be able to gain an extra year. So once again, it's not official, but you feel pretty good about those guys, and their progress has been really, really encouraging for me as I watched Nick, run and get better, and so he's doing everything right, and Donovan out there working, and so those guys should all be back ready to go.
Just to jump on that, is Juan Harris also a candidate for that? Or not?
Yes, he is. So we're hoping, I don't see a reason why, there was really not a excessive number of games played, so he's another one, yes, that would fall in that category.
Yeah, given the hiring of Coach Ballou and Dr. Ray, also looking at the recruiting class, was increasing speed a major motivation for you in this offseason? Absolutely.
We addressed it, as I mentioned, with this class, and really excited about that because, if you want them fast, recruit them fast. We want them big, recruit them big. And we really focused on a lot of size a year ago by design, and really focused on a lot of speed with this class by design. But obviously, once you get them here, you got to develop that speed so you can always get faster. And so that's where Coach Ballou comes in and Dr. Ray comes in, and even the motive for having and bringing in an individual of his caliber to our staff. So, it's a speed game. The game is played in space, and it continues to grow in that area. I don't see it changing, don't see it going back. And so we have to get as many guys as we can that can make those plays in the space.
Coach, you're talking about speed. Is there a tangible number that you're looking for as far as improvement with the players? As far as, again, working with Coach Ballou and Dr. Ray, is there a number that you're targeting as far as improvement that you want to see?
Well, I would say, not a number in terms of this many guys. We know, and we've discussed, and even through the process of evaluating our current roster when they got here, to be able to go through and evaluate that. There's no question in our mind what we're looking for in terms of, hey, we want to get this group of guys, especially the skill guys, to be able to run at a faster rate of speed, and just the technology that they're bringing with them, and the knowledge that they bring is impressive. But it's like anything else. You got to work. There's no replacement for that. So, but there's no question that on both sides of the ball, in the areas of our skill, we must get faster.
With the possible transfers, would you guys like to try to add an older guy at quarterback? You only have 3, and you're kind of young at that position. I know it's hard to say, but is that something where if somebody came up, that'd be an interest?
Well, it's really hard to say, but with the age of that group, there is some common sense to that, for sure. And just by the way, the nature of the numbers. And I would say that's kind of the logic at several positions. You look at your roster and you say, I know, like even in the secondary, we graduate a lot of guys, and so the ability to not replace them with all guys in the exact same grade is ideal, to create the spacing. We've got some, I would say, some imbalance in some spots that you just can't fix overnight. And so that would be the theme of addressing each position and trying to find if we go through the cycle and you don't end up getting a certain number that you may want there, or you may try to prevent getting too many true freshmen, then you would go through and say, hey, we're going to try to, when the spring is over, and to see if there's availability of individuals in both the junior college and the graduate transfer route to see who can meet those needs.
I guess following up on the quarterback position, not just Michael Penix, but all 4 of those early enrollees, what's the process in your mind about, I guess, trying to evaluate how quickly they can have an impact as early enrollees, as guys who maybe could get through the spring and have roles in the fall, but in particular Penix, just because of that quarterback position? Sure,
and I think that's the one, when guys started coming early, that was kind of the position that they, it only seemed to affect. And as a matter of fact, I remember years ago, I think Rex Grossman did that, down in Florida when I was coaching high school ball in this state. And that was one of the first times I had heard of a local guy doing that. So now it's kind of, affected more positions. So once you get him here, then you got to evaluate, okay, where are they at physically? You watch his film and you recruit them, but now you get them in the weight room, you got them training with your guys, so you get a pretty good feel for, are they physically going to be ready to play? And then also, you go through spring football. And that, to me, is going to be the true test case to see, okay, where are they at in progression of physically, mentally, and then where do they fit on the depth chart? So we'll know a lot more of those answers once we go through spring football. But by getting them here, getting them indoctrinated into our weight program, into class, and just allowing us to develop them is really a huge part of, I think, their development.
Last one, Matt. With Coach Hinge, obviously no longer linebacker, special teams coordinator, but on game day and during the week in practice, do you see him kind of being kind of like maybe a roving coach, or is there areas he can help out in when you guys aren't doing special teams?
Well, there's an area for sure, and even in talking to Coach Womack, and there are certain games when we play with our 4-3 defense. And so when we do that, there's an extra linebacker that we utilize. So he'll be working with that individual. And so that will be part of his role because of his expertise with backers. And that makes it hard because, he's kind of that extra position for those few games that we use them in. So that's going to be one role. But then also, as you go through, and once again, myself doing that in the past, working with those specialists and getting more individual time with them is critical. And that's the one group that always got left out. And so to me, now you are able to really give them the attention that they need. And once again, that's going to help us, we believe, in our production and our effectiveness, be able to execute on special teams.
All right, thanks, Tom.
Thank you. Elio.